Welcome back, ladles, jelly spoons, and all other non-binary kitchen utensils. This is the Gravy Wheels podcast, and I am your host, Jehovah.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Frank. And I have never thrown a controller down in a fit of rage and broken it.
Lies.
I feel like that's not true, actually.
Never broken a controller.
Really?
I have.
I've broken a keyboard, but we can talk about that later.
I think I've only broken one, and I don't remember what game I was playing, but I finally, for once, did not resist the urge to spike it, and it did in fact break in half. And don't mind me.
Well, look at him go.
He's drinking Jameson out of a Gravy Wheels mug, which you can get
at Teespring.
Amazon.com. No.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I think it's linked in our description, though.
Now we'll figure it out.
What a beautiful mug, though. Am I right?
I broke a controller playing Tekken against a friend. I think it was on the original No, it was on PS2, I think. And they just kept doing the same move over and over again, and I was like, just couldn't get past it, so I just fucking spiked it in the ground.
Played against one of those guys. You played against one of those guys where they just do the same fucking thing over and over again. We gotta play the Kirby thing. A lot of people do the Kirby thing on Smash, though. But
sure. I should say, though, I was in, I think, like middle school, maybe, or like 5th grade when that happened. So it's been a while.
What was the Super Street Fighter character? I think he was like bald, was real lengthy, and you could like lay down on the ground and just like leg kick just over and over and over. And he had so much reach, you could like almost not counter it. That's all I remember about. Not all I remember about Street Fighter.
Dalsim.
That guy was. I think that's what I would do, to be honest, because I am so bad at those kind of games. So I would just pick one that I could abuse a little bit.
If you want to get started on fighting games here, this can go. I can go for like an hour.
I know nothing.
You don't want to
do
this.
Yeah, no, I know.
You don't want to do this.
It'd be like talking to you about tennis games. It'd be the same boat.
Basically, yeah.
I've never broken a controller, but I have broken a keyboard once. One night, I was playing Counter-Strike 1.6, and I don't remember what happened. This was years ago, and there's been many blackouts since then. But the opposing team just kept doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it just made me so mad that I threw my fucking keyboard and I hit the window and I put a chip in the window. Ooh. And a little hairline crack, but you couldn't see it. But then later on, somebody else in the house actually broke the window, but they had to pay for it.
Nice. There you go.
I pre-broke the window and I didn't have to pay for shit for it.
It's like whenever you pass off the pickle jar and they crack it right open, you're like,
oh.
Yeah, except then you don't have to pay for the pickles.
Yeah, guess that analogy is actually totally off, but
yeah, that's garbage.
Yeah, damn. I tried. We need to get on that 1.6 train. We need to see if we can get it working on. I mean, I would assume there'd still be a player base. You might have to like play on a Friday night or something to make sure you get enough people to get matches quickly, but
no, there are people still in European countries that play that constantly.
I remember playing it at internet cafes in Sedalia. I don't even... What would that have been? That like card shop or whatever the store was? It was like downtown. It wasn't Queen City, unless it was Queen City whenever... I don't know. Anyways, no one knows what we're talking about other than you and I, so...
No.
But yeah, I remember going in that back room, and I think you had to pay like X amount per hour or something like that. And the computers weren't even good. Half the time the game would just crash, but it felt like fun at the time.
If that's what the best that you had access to, then that was it.
Right. It's probably still better than the computer I had.
Very, very European and forward thinking of a place in Missouri to have an internet cafe too, especially that fucking town.
Yeah.
True.
So we've got some questions from somebody on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's Bow Time 88, huh?
It's Bow Time. What's up, Bo?
It is about to be bow time, yes.
It is, in fact, bow time. You read
what
one
you got?
Well, we just went over breaking a controller. If you ever gotten so mad, what was the worst thing you've done?
Good segue. Most angriest.
How about the game that? This question number one was, what game did you expect to not like? What is a game you thought you'd hate but ended up liking, and the reverse?
I've got an answer for this recent, actually. And I think I've kind of talked about it before, but I totally did not care whatsoever about Black Ops 4 multiplayer and was solely getting that game for Blackout, the Battle Royale mode, the first time Call of Duty did Battle Royale. And then when it came out, because even like the beta, the beta, all I played was the Battle Royale mode. And whenever it came out full release, I played a little bit of Battle Royale, but I was like, we'll jump into multiplayer and see, and I ended up just getting hooked, and I could not put it down. Prestige Master, which is max rank, and then got the Dark Matter camo, which is like getting every gun in the game Diamond, I think. Yeah, I think it was Diamond that game. I can't remember what the ultimate camo, but you had to get every gun ultimate camo. And just the progression was really, really fun. I got totally addicted to it, and just went from not really caring to just being balls deep in that game.
It's always a pleasant surprise when that sort of happens to you.
It's more enjoyable, it's like anticipating a game and then enjoying it when it comes out is one thing, but not anticipating it at all and then just being, totally involved is such a better feeling for whatever reason.
I think that maybe the biggest example of that for me recently was the most recent God of War game. Like, I knew people loved it. I knew everybody was really into it, but I tend to be one of those people that, like, the more I see hype for a game, the less interested, the more I kind of want to stay away from it.
Same.
Seems to fit you and your vaporwave aesthetic.
Yeah, that's right. This is definitely on purpose. But like, I remember one of my friends who played it was like, you should definitely play it also because you're a dad, and like I feel like that'll hit you on another level. Because there's like, I mean, parenthood is sort of like central in the story, and it was incredible. It was fantastic, and like I loved it. Spent a lot of time with it. Did a bunch of the challenge, like the outside of the story mission type stuff. It's great. Can't recommend it enough. But you, Frank, what you got?
This is an early. This is gonna date me, but I had gotten a Game Boy Color, and I had gotten one of the Atomic Purple Game Boy Colors, like the see-through translucent purple.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah.
And then
the Grape, I believe it was called.
Nope, Atomic Purple.
Was it Atomic Purple? Okay. Maybe I'm thinking the N64 or something.
No, there was also like just a flat purple Game Boy.
This is the translucent one.
Yeah, I remember the translucent one.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I had too when I had a Game Boy Color.
So I had played like the shit out of like Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver and a bunch of like other Game Boy games, and then for some reason at the game shop, I don't know if it was Queen City or if it was Game Exchange, but I bought Harvest Moon, like I think it was like 2 for the Game Boy Color.
Yes.
Like I'm just like picking up games to check them out, and I got that, and I was like, Daddy, I want to be a farmer.
All right, Tom.
Like that was so fun. Those were fun, especially back then.
I've never played any of the Harvest Moons. Any of them.
They're great. I mean, they're basically what Animal Crossing is.
I had never played Animal Crossing until this New Horizon, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more guided storylines and stuff in Harvest Moon.
A little more direction.
Yeah.
But still, it's like, you grow shit, try to sell it at a profit. Weather changes. Sometimes, like, your crops don't do so well.
What's the newest one? Have they had a recent at all?
Yeah, they for the Switch, I think.
They keep cranking them out. I don't know. I haven't played one since. Also, I think the Game Boy Color one.
Really heard anything about them, so they must not have been anything like super great.
Yeah, well, now, like, if you want that, you go to Stardew Valley. That's like the main
one. The flip side of that question, games that you anticipated but ended up hating. And I don't want to say that I ended up hating it, but Sea of Thieves, man. That game, the beta was so fun. Like the concept of being on a ship with your buds, going on adventures and finding treasure, and finding the unique effect treasure chests and stuff like that. I remember every time I played it, before the beta ended, just thinking, oh man, this is gonna go away. But just think how, the beta's so cool. Imagine what the full release is gonna be. And then the full release came out, and it was like the exact same chests, the exact same quests, the exact same gameplay, like everything. The beta was the game, and so it was just such a letdown thinking that, oh, it's gonna be the beta plus more. It wasn't expanded at all. So once the full release came out, it got really boring really quick, especially with the way that they did the currency in that game, where it was aesthetics only. You started with all the weapons, all that. The only thing you could really buy was like eye patches, and I guess you could get like the gold versions of your weapons and stuff like that. But and there was no risk as far as your treasure. Like no one could really, well, at least once you sold, you just always had your balance, like it was in a pirate bank. And there was no risk to losing any of your gold, which I thought was kind of... I always thought whenever the game was coming out that maybe you'd have to like stash your gold balance like on an island somewhere. You'd have to like hide it, and then there was chances that other players in the world would be able to find your stash and just take literally everything you owned. Or there'd maybe be, if you died with 100,000 gold on you, you would lose 10% of it or something. And there's just nothing like that. And yeah, I mean, that game's fun, and they ended up adding a lot of stuff post-launch that made it a lot better, but I just feel like that was a huge swing and a miss that I was really, really anticipating.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Have you returned to it since they added a whole bunch of stuff to it?
Yeah, so I went back and played once they... So they updated it, and they added this, what were they called? The Skull Island raids or whatever, I don't know if you guys are too familiar with it. But basically, no. There would be a random event where you would see a storm cloud, and there'd be like a skull and lightning and shit. And when you saw that, that was the only event on the server, and you could go there, and there would be a skull island, and you would have to fight waves of enemies, and they would scale in difficulty as it went. And if you cleared all the waves, then you would get a key from the last pirate boss that you would kill, open up the dungeon or whatever, and then there would be all kinds of like really good loot, high value loot. The problem was whenever they first did it, the spawns in the game were so bad. The waves took like 40 minutes to get through. I if I remember correctly. I mean, it was a long process. And again, that's the only event on the server, so other people would see it and they would come over, and then they would kill you once you've already progressed through like half the waves. And even if you defended, like a lot of times there was so many streams that I had where we would hold off the people attacking us while we were doing the waves, but the respawn system in the game was so broken that they would spawn just like on the nearest island. So every time they would spawn back in, they would just see the skull cloud, they'd come right back to you, and you deplete your resources while you're defending the island, but they respawn with all new, fresh new inventories, and they just keep hitting you and keep hitting you. So eventually it's like you can't defend yourself once they've respawned 3 times with fresh gear, and you're using all the inventory that you already had on the boat and on the island. So eventually, a lot of times they would just come in and sweep the gear up from you after you did all of or most of the work. So, but they added the Megalodon update, and that was pretty cool. There's a Kraken. They've added a bunch of stuff, and it's different types of cannonballs and stuff like that. So, but it's just been like the history of the game has been like too little, too late. If it would have launched with all this stuff, it'd probably be great. But
it's something that I've like been interested in. I don't have an Xbox, so I wasn't able to jump in on it when it came out. But like now that I have Game Pass on my PC, and
I was gonna say, yeah,
I'm really curious about jumping into it. I've played a little bit of it, and it seems great, but it's like it also seems like you fucking need other people. It's not that great by yourself.
Definitely need a crew, and with all the updates, it's like even being fairly familiar with the game, I get on there and there's like new stuff every time, and I'm like, how does this work? But there is another thing that they did right from the start was crossplay and cross progression, so you can boot it up on your Xbox and then boot it up on your PC, and all your stuff's the same and crossplay. So.
How about you, Frank? You got any soul-crushing disappointments? Like Joey, who absolutely hated Sea of Thieves?
Absolutely hated it.
I guess I got a twofer.
Mm.
All right.
A twofer, because they're both kind of in the same thing, and they both came out recently. There was a newish BattleTech game and a newish MechWarrior game that I thought were going to be like awesome. But the controller support is so horrible, which is like really screwed up because they had the controls down good for like MechWarrior, the one that launched with the fucking Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's just they're abysmal. I don't know how it's not the same as like how it was then.
Wasn't that a launch title?
For the Xbox, I think it was.
The OG
I think for Xbox Live, maybe.
Yeah, I remember it being one of the first. I know that's one of the few games, that and Chaos Theory, maybe, or was it the other Splinter Cell? There's like 3 games that you could soft mod an Xbox with, and Mech Assault was one of the Splinter Cells.
Pandora Tomorrow.
Was it Pandora?
Yeah, Pandora Tomorrow was the first one I had online.
The Splinter Cell was the other way to. The Incorrupt Splinter Cell save file was the other way to soft mod the Xbox 360.
The other Unreal Tournament 2004. That was the other big Xbox Live launch title.
Here's a weird one. Did you guys ever soft mod an Xbox 360 and turn it into like a emulation console?
Never did a 360.
Yeah. That, and then I did an Xbox. Man, I need to find those.
The OG Xboxes were fun. I remember once I figured out how to do it, we went over to Ty's house, and I remember like everybody brought their Xbox, and we just like spent all day modding everybody's Xbox, because our thing was at the time we were just getting into LAN parties, but none of us had money, and we didn't want to buy 16 copies of every game. So once we found out, if we soft mod our consoles, we can burn Halo 2 or Halo CE or whatever it was at the time, to the hard drive of the console. That was the other downside to that, though, was like, I don't even remember. They had like very little onboard memory. You could put like 2 games on there if you were lucky. I think.
Yeah.
It was not much at all.
We did that. We soft modded all of the original Xboxes, and we put like Xbox Media Center on there, and we loaded up. Yeah, I remember that.
I put
and I had
because I figured out how to do. I remember doing Halo 2 modded maps too, and I remember having a version of Coagulation on my Xbox that when you loaded it up, all the textures in the game was lesbian porn.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's.
I mean, it was pretty awesome, man.
I'm just gonna frag one more time, guys. Just one more time.
Just one more again. Well, that only worked on the host Xbox as far as like who could see it, but I could see it, and that's all that mattered, baby.
That makes it even creepier. All right. Next topic. Holy shit.
Sorry, I ruined that one. What bow time question do we have now?
Number 7.
Y'all skip me.
Oh,
yeah. Game that you hate.
Hurts me.
Your heart.
Hurts me when we do this.
My bad.
2 in the same series even would be fucking Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite.
Right.
Infinite is so disappointing. And like that series, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I fucking love that game. The very first time I played it in an arcade, I cleared it with 1 credit. And that's like my proudest gaming achievement.
How long did that take?
I don't know. Like a playthrough of that game takes probably half an hour. Yeah, like not that long. But like I said, it was with 1 credit. I didn't lose it all.
I'm so jealous of your arcade background. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I never really. I mean, I got a little bit of it, but I can confidently say that I've never beat an entire game on an arcade.
There was a casino in Kansas City it used to be called Station Casino. It's Ameristar Casino now, I think. But they used to do this thing where if you came on Tuesdays after I think 6 o'clock, and you paid $10 at the door, they had all the machines set to free play.
Ooh.
So you could just go around, you paid your $10, walked in, and then you were like, cool, I'm going to play through like the first 3 House of the Dead games and like Time Crisis and shit.
Nice.
It was really, really cool. I got to play through a lot of stuff that way.
Actually,
it was also one of the few arcades in Kansas City that had a Dance Dance Revolution machine. So I spent a lot of time and money there.
But hey, that's why you got that physique that you've got today, man.
Yeah, this sick dad bod.
A fucking spin-off side question here. What's the most weirdest or absurd arcade cabinet you've played? And pinball.
I was at
any rare arcade or pinball.
I went to Huntington, West Virginia a few years ago to see a live show of my brother and me. They do their candlelight show in their hometown. And so we went to this and we stayed at a hotel, and then across the street from the hotel was a convention center. And it just so happened that convention center was hosting a anime convention at the time.
Oh.
So I was like, fuck it. It's Sunday. It's like the last day of the convention. I'm sure everybody's going to be all fucked out. So we'll go check it out. And they had a cabinet there, an arcade cab that was of a game where the whole point of the game was your interface was half of a table, like a wooden table.
Mm-hmm.
And what you did in the game was you put your hands on the bottom side of the table and you flipped it up as hard as you could and sent all the shit on screen flying off of it.
What?
Yeah, that was the whole game.
That sounds amazing.
It was like one of those punch games you'd see at a movie theater to see how hard you could punch, only it was just how hard you can flip a table. And it was all in Japanese.
Okay. Yeah. I get the concept now. I don't know how how necessarily rare, but I've never seen one since. But I'm pretty sure. Let me know if I'm thinking wrong, Frank. But I'm pretty sure the Sedalia Bowling Alley, Broadway Lanes, they had a Star Fox arcade. Did they not? With the cockpit?
What?
I'm almost positive. Back in the day, because I remember playing.
Were you the one that also?
Yeah, I was going to tell that story next.
You got hurt there. All right, yeah, go ahead.
But
I'm
pretty sure that was a Star Fox arcade there, and I if it wasn't there, I don't know where else it would have been because I didn't hardly go to any arcades. But I've never seen a Star Fox arcade since.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah,
unless I'm totally fabricating shit in my mind.
But it was a platform game. It wasn't a.
It was right outside the bar, because they had an arcade down by the bathrooms. But I could have swore right when you walked out of the bar, they had Star Fox the arcade sitting there. We could Google it and see if maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there wasn't even a sit down arcade, but I'm pretty sure there was.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm seeing one, but I don't remember that. Oh my god, there was one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look at this later.
I wonder if we could find old photos of inside that bowling alley or something to see if I'm right, but I'm pretty sure I remember playing on that. But yeah, so what Frank was alluding to,
shithole.
It was a shithole.
That was I wish I could have bought it and fucking redone it.
They wanted way too much for that place.
Way too much. They didn't own the land. Anyways, but the story.
So they had an arcade, an actual arcade room on the other side of the bar, kind of by the bathrooms. And so my parents, it would have been my mom and my stepfather at the time, they would always take me to the bar when I was in I guess it would have been second grade, first and second grade. I mean, I was young, and they would get loaded at the bar. Luckily, we only lived 6 or 7 blocks from there, but it was, still thinking back, it was a fucked up situation more than I realized at the time. They would get loaded at the bar, and they would just feed me quarters all night. So I would go play. I even remember playing the pull tab lottery game,
What? They did the pull tabs?
Yeah, it was second grade. I'm pulling tabs. Give me more pull tabs, Mom. So anyways, they had given me our arcade money, and they had this helicopter game, and I don't remember what that was. I don't remember the exact title of it, but it was one of those where you actually sit in the cockpit and you would fly the helicopter, and it was I got what I thought was far in the game, and it was insert another quarter to play again or to continue playing, and the 60 seconds was counting down. So I jump off, I run all the way to the bar. I need more quarters. They're yeah, sure, whatever the fuck. Here, take these quarters. Get the hell out of my face, kid. I run back, jump into the arcade to make sure that I get my quarter in time to continue my gameplay. And in doing so, at some point, there was like some sheet metal hanging off of this, and I still have a scar on my leg, like a good 1.5-inch long scar. I just sliced the shit out of my leg. And so I go back, and tell my parents, and I remember them like laying me out on a table, the owner and everything, and they were kind of freaking out, and everybody was trying to figure out what we should do, because my parents were loaded at the bar, so they didn't exactly want to drive me to the hospital. And I remember, I guess it wasn't that bad because, mom decided not to take me to the hospital that night. And I just remember the owner being like terrified that we were going to sue them. So, yeah, that's my arcade experience.
Fun stuff.
I remember that story from so long ago.
Yeah, good times.
So the most weirdest and rare arcade cabinet, I'm not including fucking pinball, but arcade cabinet is called Rolling Extreme Street Luge that they had up at the college across from the bowl, because I spent a lot of time like going up there and doing like the science fairs and all that bullshit. But it was this goddamn a street luge game where you had to pull the things.
That's awesome.
and like, what's funny is like street luge is not a thing. So like nobody does street luge anymore. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know.
I'm sure it had like licensed celebrities that were made up.
This thing was old. I wish it had what it was. But I always threw a lot of money into that stupid machine.
There were a lot of games that were like that, had that. Like I remember a couple skateboarding games that were where you like stood on a skateboard and had to like try to ollie it and shit to like get down like a slalom type thing.
I remember seeing those. I never was brave enough to get on it.
Oh yeah, I played any gimmicky bullshit I could find, man.
With your previous bad experiences with arcade equipment?
Yeah, I think I just have an arcade phobia at this point.
Arcade trauma?
Yep.
Our boy, Bo.
It's Bo time.
88. The last question I think that we decided to pick off of this was number 7, which was, what was your favorite video game villain?
And why?
And why?
One off the top of my head, I don't necessarily, this isn't going to be like my answer, but I always think of the Pigman or whatever from Metal Gear Solid on top of the oil thing. In
Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah,
the guy, the bomb suit guy on roller skates.
Yeah. I always think of that guy. He's iconic, dude.
If I was gonna pick somebody from that game, man, I would pick Vamp though. Vamp was cool.
I don't remember
that game
Vamp.
Was so badass. That game was so badass.
Game was cool.
That was that was like early on in my gaming life, so I never really got too much into Metal Gear Solid past that one.
I'm trying to remember any good answers for this question. I can't think of anything. I didn't think of anything beforehand.
Well, I can go ahead and you can think.
Yeah, go. Please.
The fucking Batman Arkham series, the Joker. I think that was a really good implementation of the Joker.
I forgot that was Mark Hamill's voice.
And Mark Hamill voicing it, and that was a pretty solid video game villain, I think. Just the entire production of it.
Oh yeah, those games are great.
I think my answers would have to be like not necessarily one single villain, but like, well, I guess in Gears of War's case, like General Ram. General Ram is just, he was over the course of a few games or whatever, I guess, but I mean, he was a pretty big badass, and it was a lot of fun to fight. Well, you ended up fighting him on the train, I think, and then just the Flood in general in Halo, from like the first time you encounter them and all the different types and shit. It wasn't just like, oh, zombies, or it wasn't just like alien enemies. I don't know. Just the whole concept of the Flood and every little piece of that experience was really fucking cool. I hope that the Flood comes back in future Halo games.
I remember that being really surprising too, because I think at the time I only thought Halo was just you fight these like Covenant aliens, That's kind
exactly, yeah. That actually the article that you linked with the interview with Marty O'Donnell, he talked about that. He talked about how that was, like a big part of the storyline. They wanted you to think you knew exactly what was going on in the story, and then it was like halfway through the game, they're just like, "Oh, by the way, here's the fucking flood." And I think everybody remembers like that first moment where you realize that it's not just the fucking aliens you're fighting. Now you've got to deal with this fucking like infected.
Yeah. You end up fighting a war on more fronts than you expect to.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I'm thinking about fighting games again. I always liked Cyber Akuma. I thought that was just like such a weird inclusion to have a robot version of a known character and have that be like a secret boss.
What's that from?
I can't. I don't think it's Marvel vs. Capcom. I think it's from like X-Men versus Street Fighter or something like that.
It's from Street Fighter, but yeah, it's all the characters in Marvel vs. Capcom.
It's from one of those previous crossover games before they got to Marvel vs. Capcom. It's from Marvel Superheroes versus Capcom or some shit. I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny because like I've played a lot of really story-heavy games recently that have good like villains with interesting motivations or villains who aren't actually villains, and I've like drawn a total blank.
Bowser.
I'm sweaty.
Bowser's always trying to fuck your girl, dude.
That fucking mean sword in Super Mario RPG.
Fucking good game. I hope. I wish that there. I love Super Mario RPG. I just hate that Super Mario RPG has been turned into like what Super Mario Paper has become, but the new one is going to be good.
It looks good. Yeah, it got a good review from Famitsu, so fingers crossed. But like we all know that the big game that's coming out this week though is going to be Deadly Premonition 2. Critical Darling
until you brought it up.
Critical Darling sitting at a cool, I think maybe 50 on Metacritic. Yeah, no. I love those games, but I don't know.
I don't know why they use monkey sounds for squirrels. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, please, if you don't know what he's talking about, please look up like one of the beginning scenes to Deadly Premonition. It's great.
It like turns into squirrel chatter, but when they first get spooked, it's definitely just like they went to the zoo and recorded chimpanzees. Yeah. And that's what a squirrel sounds like, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
If you were wondering.
Filled all in the trees. All in the trees around here. Nonstop. Yeah, I've renewed my pledge to finish the first one so that I can play the second one. But I've started the first game maybe like 6 times and never finished it. So I'm going to do it this time, though.
I get a weird off branch on fighting games, just real quick. Kiryu is going to be brought to Tekken, maybe?
That's the scuttlebutt, yeah.
That'll be cool.
Harada's the producer for the Tekken series. He likes to fuck with people, though, so I mean, we'll see.
You play the Mortal Kombats?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that
if it's
just 11 just came out. Or, well, I mean, not too long ago, at least.
It's been out for a while, but they just released a DLC thing for it that includes RoboCop.
Nice.
Peter Weller's
RoboCop.
Oh, yeah, like his likeness, his voice, everything.
They got Terminator in there?
Yeah. He was in the previous pack. Yeah, like old Arnold.
I should have known that because I think every game license bought up Terminator IP in 2019 and just slammed it in their game.
That's smart, I think.
Which I'm not against.
Yeah.
But here's what pisses me off is like, in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I can't do those fucking Terminator missions, but I can go to that one facility that's just decked out with the fucking and they're so pretty now with my new graphics card.
What's it decked
So-
out with? Is there like just T1000s like lining the walls of a
And
base or something?
shipping containers, and then like open shipping
So it
containers.
like entices you,
And
but they're
all-
like, can't play unless you click this link.
No, but that's the thing is,
it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
you can't play it at all
Oh,
now.
because it was a time DLC.
Yeah.
Wow, those bastards.
But they left all the artifacts of it fucking everywhere. And
Just to fucking tease you.
It's still on like your menu selection, on your mission selection screen too. You can never like get rid of it. It's always going to have that little fucking Terminator.
So
there.
maybe they're going to bring it back at some point, or they're just lazy assholes, like dangling the carrot.
Fucking hope.
I don't know. I hope they bring it back.
I love Breakpoint. Breakpoint's fucking fun if you understand
the
how
newest
it works.
Yeah.
I can't keep these.
And then
I guess Wildlands is the one. I don't think I played Breakpoint. I played Wildlands. though.
Wildlands had Predator shit in it.
Yeah,
They had some kind of Predator mission.
Yeah.
I think Breakpoint has some Predator shit in it too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Everybody's buying up Predator and Terminator.
I'm curious to see how that'll work now since Predator has a proper game.
Which we all need to hop back
Got
on.
a bunch of
some
pubes in my
shit.
mouth. Sorry.
I think that's
All
When are they
right,
gonna start putting the Jaws IP and stuff though? That's what I want to know.
I bought that.
Maneater and fucking.
I've got that.
bought
I
that
don't think
fucking-
I've played it yet.
I haven't heard great stuff about it.
Really? Yeah. That's kind of what my first impression of gameplay was like. Well, it looks okay, but it looks more of a. It looks like they're being really careful because they don't know how many people are actually going to buy this shit and how long they're actually going to play it for.
I heard it was like a little repetitive. It just okay, all right.
You go.
Sleep no more.
I
Yeah.
just gotta go
Magic
take a
trick.
piss. And I pissed in a bottle so I don't want people to see it.
No, what?
God.
No,
quick
go ahead.
shout out-
I can still hear you.
Quick shout out to Bo for giving us a bunch of questions on Twitter, and a big thank you for hitting 100 followers over there. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Keep it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so you're-
and keep asking
So
questions.
eventually we'll figure out how to stop talking over each other, or I will.
Eventually. Is your
yeah.
is your shirt full of corgis?
Hell yeah, it's Ein baby from Cowboy Bebop,
I like it, dude. I like
smartest
it.
dog in the world.
I got Cousin Eddie on my shirt.
Yes, no idea.
See, is he mad at me? He's always mad at me, man.
I think so.
I am mad at you.
You've never seen Cowboy Bebop, have you? You have no concept of this. Yeah.
I just smile and nod, you know?
And the best part of this is that Frank is peeing, but he's still wearing his headphones, but his microphone is in the bedroom still, so he can hear everything. There he is.
You like Ein, and you like corgis, but you've never seen fucking Cowboy Bebop.
Even if you're
What
like,
did I say?
when I was young, I did not like anime. I was not into it really. But Cowboy Bebop is. It doesn't matter who you are. Like it's
Just watch it
universally
once.
good. It's great.
Just watch it once.
I don't know if there's any. I don't think there's any even like loophole anime that you'd be like, oh, you've seen that? Well, then you do like anime. I don't think I've seen any anime. I don't think.
You never saw Dragon Ball Z or anything like that.
I mean, I've seen it, but I've never like watched an entire episode. I know that much.
No,
I guess I've watched like Pokemon. Does that count?
Did we make him?
Yeah.
Did we make him watch Akira?
I don't
Just
know.
the world! We never made him watch that, or
Kaneda.
Totally.
I don't think
lost.
so. No.
or Princess Mononoke. You've never seen that, or
I've seen Matthew Broderick fight off Godzilla. He was a worm farmer.
that's.
Does that count? No. Okay.
By the way, that's a really actually good Godzilla.
I love that movie. I always ask people if they've seen it, and most people
It's
haven't.
not a traditional, but it's the best American Godzilla movie.
It's pretty good. Have you guys seen the newer one? What's the one with all the?
I'm trying
monsters
not
in
to
it?
grind my teeth. I'm trying not to grind my teeth so hard that you can hear it in the mic.
Come on, dude! All the eggs underneath the whatever center, and
Madison Square Garden or no?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Come on.
He hates us so much.
Godzilla is a good. No, you're done now. You've espoused your wrong opinion.
I was just gonna say, to be fair, I haven't seen it since like probably like middle school or something, so it could be far worse than I remember.
Stop. The second to last stage of Godzilla is basically having a universe inside of it, so that way it can generate and create its own energy. The last stage of Godzilla is God. There are baby Godzillas the stage. How much of a Godzilla fan are you, Andrew?
Oh no, what's that face?
Oh, this is hate.
Say that to me again.
Have you seen the newest one with the monsters? What's that one called? I've been wanting to see it, like with Mothra.
King of the Monsters. Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good.
Doesn't it have Finn Wolfhard in it?
No, it doesn't. It has Millie Bobby Brown in it.
That's what I'm thinking. Stranger Things, one of them.
Stranger Things.
Godzilla, the U.S. Godzilla, is good because it has Jean Reno in it. And I'm willing to accept it as a movie. It's a fine movie. It's not a Godzilla movie.
It's not. It's made for the American palate.
And like that giant lizard is not Godzilla. Godzilla is a dude in a suit.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Godzilla walks around with a giant pair of rubber like lizard waders on.
In a noticeably like cardboard built city, shooting.
You know how they do?
sparklers.
You know how the sound effect for his roar is made?
How is it made?
Is made by dragging a rubber glove across bass violin strings and slowing it down.
Wow.
So
TIL.
he's that type of
Yeah.
guy.
Have either of you? I don't know why I'm asking Joey this because I know the answer. Frank, have you seen Shin Godzilla?
No, but there's also all the manga series that I was told by somebody I need to read.
Manga. Is that how you pronounce it? I thought it was manga.
It's manga.
Damn it.
You should track down. Watch Shin Godzilla. You will enjoy it a lot. It's very, very good. Not like Godzilla movie good, but like movie good.
So like better than Cloverfield or no?
Yes. Yes, better than.
I didn't know if that would trigger you or not.
No, I have nothing. I don't hate things, man. It takes too much energy.
I remember people hating Cloverfield though, and I always thought it was a pretty decent monster movie, and I liked the way that they filmed it, you know, with the shaky cam or whatever.
It's totally enjoyable. I got nothing against it.
Yeah, and then
I was really into like the.
What happened with the? So what was it? 10 Cloverfield Lane. Is that what it was called? Great movie.
Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to be the same universe?
Yes, that's the idea.
And so, and then the end, there's a little bit of, and then, but then there was like that Netflix hour-long thing that came out. What was that called?
The Cloverfield Paradox.
So that, in my opinion, like original Cloverfield, decent monster movie. 10 Cloverfield Lane, fantastic. John Goodman, excellent, good movie. Didn't really fit into the universe too much, but still good. That Paradox shit, dog shit. Hated it. I mean, it was just, it was one of those that it ends and you're just like, why the fuck did I even just spend time watching that?
That movie was not made as part of that series. It was bought and then had the title changed.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember hearing something like that.
So, yeah, I think they just wanted to put a name on it somebody could recognize, and then that was kind of it.
That was such a disappointment because I remember being so hyped whenever I found out that it was, you know, on Netflix. And it's just like utter disappointment, you know? Because the way that 10 Cloverfield Lane ended, you're like, oh shit, like, I want to see what's going to happen next, you know what I mean? And then it's just been, what, crickets for how many years? I mean, that movie came out quite a while ago now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoyed 10 Cloverfield Lane all right, but it's like I had no expectation. I had seen previously how much everybody fucking hated it, so my expectations were low, and I was like,
so that got bad reviews too? I thought it was good, man. I mean, if you like John Goodman...
No, not 10 Cloverfield Lane. I mean the Cloverfield Paradox.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen 10 Cloverfield Lane, you guys need to watch it. All you need to know is John Goodman in a bunker the entirety of a movie, and that's all I'm going to say. And watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally different role than you've ever seen John Goodman play too. That's all I'll also say.
He'll also just say the ending though right now. If
Also,
you wanna go
yeah.
Yeah, how have you guys been faring with like the straight to Netflix movies? What do you think is the best thing that you've seen so far that has just been like a straight up Netflix acquisition, Netflix release?
Oh,
I have an answer off the cuff. I was actually very pleasantly surprised with. I just watched this like a week ago, and I already can't remember the name. The Will Ferrell movie, with where they.
Oh, the Eurovision one?
Yeah, I thought that. I went into that super skeptical, being like, "This is gonna be dog shit," and it was a pretty enjoyable movie. I thought it was pretty good.
All right.
I don't know if you guys have seen that, but
What about the opposite end? Let's get both ends of the spectrum. What's the
like
shittiest?
a dog shit one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what even fits in that category.
are we just talking movies? Or are we talking like?
Yeah,
We're talking
docu-series and stuff too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, are we
Anything that is a Netflix only release, like that's where it started.
Well,
It's hard to like differentiate it from regular entertainment. I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking of what even was Netflix.
Maybe
originals.
you probably don't pay attention to that shit like I do, I guess.
Well, the only thing I have though is Netflix, basically. So I mean, I just do all like online streaming stuff. So I guess I should know, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for like any pretty much any like crime docu-series. So like, you know, I don't think it was like the best thing in the world, and I don't want to blow it too hard. But obviously, Tiger King was good, and like Making a Murderer and stuff like that. I'm a sucker for any of that kind of stuff. I love that shit.
The Irishman, I actually did like that.
Yeah,
that's
like a 3-hour movie with De Niro and everybody, right?
Yeah, it's a Scorsese movie.
Yeah, that I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. It was weird seeing them all so old though.
And young and weird. They kind of did some.
Yeah.
Practical effects, man. You just cover them up in makeup.
I remember just thinking though, like I was forcing myself to enjoy it more than maybe I needed to, I guess, just knowing that that's probably the last time that you'll ever see them in the same movie too, you know? Like I think I appreciated it even more just with the idea of that in my head.
That's really like sentimental because I don't give a fuck. They're actors, so but that's really sentimental that you think that way.
I mean,
what's that? De Niro and Pacino haven't been in a lot of movies together.
Yeah,
They've only been in like Heat is the good one.
Them and Pesci, you know, all of them together. I mean, yeah, it's definitely last time that'll happen, I would assume.
Now all I want to do is watch Heat. That movie rules.
What about Casino, man?
Casino's great too.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, it's good.
But he's talking like Dog Day Afternoon. He's talking Pacino film.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, Heat is the only other one. There's another one called Righteous Kill that had Pacino and De Niro in it, and that was supposed to be a big deal because that was the first. And I think that was the first time since Heat that they had been in a movie together.
I haven't seen Heat in so long. I can't even think.
It's awesome.
I can't remember what it's even about, really.
They cost so much, so you can't have two of them on the screen at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of those deals.
Did you guys watch Bright?
I don't think so. Are we talking a Netflix original?
Yeah, it's a Netflix movie. It's got Will Smith in it.
Oh yeah.
Will Smith and Joel Edgerton.
Is that the like elves movie or whatever?
The fairy.
Yes.
Okay. I never watched that because it was one of those that I saw and I was like too afraid it was going to be a dog shit movie, and a lot of times I just avoid them because I don't want to be disappointed.
People did not like it. It was not well received. I enjoyed it, but like I also had no burden of expectation on it, you know.
Right.
But I don't know. I like it when people swing for the fences, even if they completely fuck it up. When someone's like, I have this ambitious idea that's a little weird, but I'm just going to try it.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty admirable these days, obviously.
That's that's the kind of shit I want to see.
Yeah.
I just gotta say something here real quick.
Huh.
Andrew, you look like you listen to like hardcore death stoner metal, and also on your Zune or your iPod, you're listening to like the Hotline Miami soundtrack with what you look like right now, all vaporwave.
Oh, I listened to that soundtrack a lot. Let me tell you. Back when I was playing that game, that's a fucking great soundtrack.
that's you right now, man.
Yeah.
Looks like if I were to have a meth dealer, that's what he would look like.
This shade of skin, everything.
Is there like a neon sign in front of you, or is that just your monitor?
No, honestly, every light in this room is like yellow incandescent. I don't know why the fuck I'm showing up all blue. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's trying to compensate for the fact that the walls are all wood, so it doesn't know like what to do with the color profile.
Dude, you look the best that anybody has looked on this podcast.
I'll take it. I look like an Eiffel 65 song come to life.
While you're in this cabin, are you just going to be in like a new location every time we record an episode?
Yeah, next time we do it, I'm going to be out in the kayak on the lake.
Yeah, just on the dock or something.
No, like floating out in the middle of the lake. I'm going to just figure it out. I'm going to use my phone as a hotspot.
Got the best router ever. Yeah.
You look like what it looks like when you're in like an industrial warehouse rave. And all the black lights are on. I'm that like middle phase when they're trying to get that girl in Willy Wonka to go back to normal after eating the Thanksgiving pill.
You're turning violet, Violet.
Yeah.
Yeah. To our listeners out there, you got to watch the YouTube video just to experience Andrew right now. He's looking fantastic.
I look great.
So, are you guys excited for the Xbox Games Showcase?
No. What is it?
So July 23rd, they're showing off. I don't think it's like all. Let's see. It's basically they're going to be showing off. They're going to be teasing and revealing some gameplay of next gen games, and I guess maybe some console information as well too.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just a couple weeks away here. So. But the most notable thing is they have confirmed that they're going to be showing Halo Infinite campaign gameplay.
All right.
So we get to see Cortana's hot next-gen tits.
Okay. That's where we lose them. What are you?
Can we not all pretend that we didn't have a crush on Cortana growing up? Come on.
Some of us don't have to pretend.
Hey, judging by your color right now, I don't know how convinced I am. All right.
What?
You're the exact same shade. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So
there's the through line of logic on that is thin.
Yeah, I know.
At best,
it's a stretch, but I'm trying. You know.
Is that did all that Assassin's Creed Viking gameplay leak from that? Is that where that came from?
I don't know. They said that it's the last. I watched some of it today because I was curious, even though I don't really care at all about Assassin's Creed. But I watched. People were like, "Yeah, 30 minutes of it got leaked," and I guess it's the last 30 minutes of the game. So I doubt that it would come from that. From what I understand, yeah, it's like the boss fight. It's like the end of the game. And the guy that I was watching, he's like, "So I downloaded it as quick as I could." And I'm like, oh man, he's just gonna talk about it, and we're not gonna be able to see it. And he just like does an in-depth like 30-minute video. I don't know if he shows all 30 minutes, but I only watched like the first few minutes. But yeah, I mean it's pretty bad apparently.
That's the leakest of leaks.
I know.
That's bad, yeah.
One of the headlines I saw was like they're desperately trying to get the gameplay pulled off. It's like how is your legal team not already all over that? Like any other studio, I feel like would have already just been like, zip zap zoobity bop, and everybody would have been, content would have been gone. Anybody that uploaded it. I mean, I know that's how like Activision. Anytime Call of Duty stuff gets leaked, dude, you show like a screenshot or anything, your video gets yoinked immediately.
That's the thing is like with this though is that people would see it, take it, and then it just keeps coming back. This keeps coming up again and up again and up again.
Yeah, and usually like people like me aren't going to upload it on channels that actually like earn an income and stuff like that. But like the little guys, they're like, I don't give a fuck. I'll make a new account and keep re-uploading the same video 50 times. So you're gonna see it, but YouTube's like automated algorithm I think helps a lot with that, because they can just basically get it to where as soon as it hits the servers, the system detects it and, can get it down before anybody even really sees it. Because it's not even, it's not even like a dude sitting there or a team of dudes sitting there anymore pulling it. It's just the algorithm picking it up as X game here.
Have you guys played Assassin's Creed Origins?
No.
I call it Camel Simulator 2.0.
Is that the, I was going to say, is that the
Really
desert?
What was Camel Simulator 1.0?
A real life camel that you rode.
I missed
That's
that
not
game,
a simulator.
but...
That's Camel Reality 1.0.
Depends on which burning bush you've been standing around. But no, like the camel physics in that game are awesome. The story and stuff, I don't give a shit. I just like strolling around on a horse and a camel. It's fun.
Is that like early on? You're I don't remember. You have like a cousin that owns like a winery, like a vineyard or something, and there's a quest that had something to do. I played a little bit of it for a sponsored video, and I remember that and a mission where you had to hunt a shark. You had to like kill a great white.
I think that's probably Odyssey.
Yeah, that sounds like Odyssey.
Yeah, I don't know. I get all those games confused.
Was it set in Greece or was it set in Egypt?
Yeah. Was it set in the desert or was it set in...
There was wine? I don't think it was
Greek.
Desert.
Probably Greek, though.
I think it was Greek, yeah. I remember playing the one in London or whatever, too.
Syndicate.
England, London, yeah, that. And I remember being really annoyed by like the way that you couldn't really crash a horse and buggy in that game. Like, you just run into something really fast and they just like bounce off. That takes me out of the game, dude. I want to see a horse pile up.
You want to see horse carnage.
I want to see blood and guts and flying hooves and just carnage.
You want to see all the people walk by each horse one by one and put them out of their misery.
Yeah, just
I was going to go more like he wants to see the Kentucky Derby just car bombed.
Just pile ups, dude.
Hey, all right. So I've got a fear and I've got a prediction about gaming in the future.
Uh-oh.
Have you guys seen any new releases about the new iPhone and the new Samsung phone, the next gen, the flagships ones, what they're not going to ship with?
A screen.
No, they're chargers.
Oh, yeah, charging ports. That's right.
So it's all going to be wireless charging?
Who knows?
That's supposed to be the idea, yeah.
Yeah. And then the iPhones aren't coming with a charger or with the AirPods or no like corded speakers, headphone jacks or anything. No lightning and nothing.
Well, I'll be happy if they do finally get rid of the lightning port. I'm sick of that fucking thing.
Proprietary, gotta love it, yeah. At least everything Samsung is Type-C.
Yeah.
So they're sending their device without chargers to you.
What
do you think?
There's two sides to that coin. So, like, on one hand, I get it. I was surprised to see that, like, I've got the 9 Plus, and I actually started looking the other day because I was like, well, it's getting a little old. I've got, like, my screen's broken and the charge port's kind of getting messed up. I've been pretty hard on this one, and I don't want to take it in and wait for it to get fixed and everything. So, I thought about upgrading, and I was surprised to see that the Samsung phones even now don't have 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks, which I like to have because... just like the iPhone now, you have to have an adapter to be able to plug in this kind of headphones, which I have 2 pair of, and I love them, and I don't want to buy wireless, and because I'm a boomer. So you have to buy, a splitter if you want to charge your phone and listen to headphones at the same time, which is annoying to me, but I get, 3.5 millimeter jacks have been around for 20 years or whatever it is, and, so... I get it. The charging thing is kind of surprising, but I guess not so surprising at the same time. But I never even thought about it until you said that. Like, if it doesn't have any ports on it anywhere, they can basically just, like, the entire phone can be, like, encapsulated in, like, silk, like glass or whatever. And it's going to be, like, totally waterproof unless you break it, which is really fucking cool, honestly, to think about. You just have it in the pool with you and not not give a shit. But
I mean, like you can already do that with a lot of the current generation of phones. I have a Pixel. I have a
yeah.
Pixel 4 XL, and I had a Pixel 2 before this, and I took it to the beach with me, and I would take it out like into the water.
But would you
And it
just
was
like
fine.
walk around? Like, would you just stick it in your pocket while you're swimming and just not
No,
care?
no, no. I didn't
Right.
just stick it
So,
in my pocket, but like,
but if these new phones, if they come out and they literally have no ports on it or whatever, and it's just literally like a capsule of glass with chips inside of it, then you wouldn't even care. Just like think about like how much you would just like, yeah, I'm swimming in the ocean with my phone in my pocket. Who cares? That concept, just that mindset sounds cool to me.
So, but like, imagine this though: is they're shipping out these devices, these phones now without chargers. I've got a good leak where I just read about an hour ago that for the next gen consoles, the PS5 is going to ship with everything, but the Xbox Series X version XXX
What?
number X is actually going to ship without controllers. So
it's going to ship without a processor and a graphics card.
well, they're shipping you a product without a way to charge it.
It's like
what do you think console? Do you think consoles are ever going to end up that way?
Wireless, like completely, like no power cables and shit, or just
not no power cables, but like they just don't send you everything for the device.
I think that we're kind of getting to a point like now-ish, honestly, that because like I don't think they're going to make you buy a new Xbox controller when the Series X comes out. I think that like your old controllers are probably still going to work.
Yeah, I could see
that. For the PlayStation, it seems like a little different. Like they've already shown off this new controller and it has like some new technology in it. So who knows? But
they're also going more and more towards the PC side of things, where keyboard and mouse already work on current gen Xbox and PS4s, and they're probably going to be even more integrated on the new consoles. So it might get to the point where it's like, and especially with crossplay and everything happening, and there's all these devices where you can run a PlayStation controller on an Xbox and an Xbox controller on a PlayStation. I could see maybe not this generation, but the next generation, that there's just like nothing's proprietary anymore. Everything works with everything. That they like you buy it and you just get a fucking power cord and your HDMI slot or whatever the fuck it is at that point.
I think Microsoft has also handcuffed themselves in this situation a little bit by selling Elite controllers. Because it's like, people love those, they kick ass. But if I spend $150, $200 on a controller, it fucking better work with the next console. Like, I don't want to just throw it away when I'm done with my.
I think it will, though, won't
it? That's what I'm saying. Is like, I think that they're will persist like that.
Yeah.
That seems logical to me.
Bluetooth keeps updating too. Like, what's the most current, like Bluetooth 3 point something?
They're up to 5 point something now.
I realize that's why I can't, like, my laptop has Bluetooth 3.0, so I can turn on an Xbox controller and just sync it with my laptop, and it's amazing because then I can play whatever I want, ROMs and emulators and stuff like that. But my PC up here doesn't have the newest version of Bluetooth, so I think that's going to be the limiting factor there when it comes to the controllers. But I don't blame Xbox either, though, because basically that's a counter for Scuff. Like, they're looking at Scuff like selling $200-$300 controllers, and they're like, wait a minute, like, why don't we have our like officially backed Xbox or Microsoft licensed controllers and sell it for the same price or even a little bit less? Or I don't know the exact price on Scuff these days, but it is kind of nice. Instead of it's almost like the responsible direction to go, if you ask me, as far as like Xbox or PlayStation saying like Scuff is an option, but you can get our stuff and we back it fully, obviously, instead of like you having to go through a third party to get the best competitive controller with extra buttons and shit.
That's what I really like, is seeing them step out behind that and kind of owning that market share a little bit, because it is annoying to like you see Razer or Hori or whatever selling these like $150 Scuff controllers, stuff like that. But that if you have a problem with that, you're sort of you're not necessarily fucked, but it's like it's going to be a lot harder for you to try try to make any sort of deal with that. I've dealt with Razer customer service before, and it's bad. It's real bad. Yeah, it sucks. So something like that, and like also like the accessibility controller is really cool. Like them being able to say, "Hey, we're going to do this, and here is this standard now that other people can sort of work with and conform to," because it has like all these like ports and stuff that receives what we got.
Speaking of controllers, we have to shout out that it's 8-bit though, right?
Yeah.
It's basically picture an SNES controller with the Xbox buttons on it. 8-bit Do has officially partnered with Xbox, and they call it the NES Xbox hybrid controller, but it looks exactly like an SNES gamepad, but like I said, with the Xbox buttons on it, and it's wireless and everything, and they're available for pre-order right now on Amazon for how much? 60?
I think they're like maybe. I think that seems like a bit high. 8-bit stuff is usually pretty affordable.
It might be 40 or 50. Yeah, it's not bad. I almost pre-ordered one. I've resisted so far, but I really want to get one just because they look badass. It looks just like a black SNES gamepad with like a 360 button on it, or a Xbox button.
It's an updated version of a controller that they still make, I think, called the SN30 Plus, and it's like a it's exactly the same. It's like an SNES that's sort of a dog bone shaped controller that has, but it also has a couple joysticks slapped in it and like a PlayStation sort of layout, so they're below everything else.
Oh, that's right. It does have joysticks. That's right. Yeah, instead of having one higher and one lower on the Xbox, it's just they're right next to each other like a PlayStation.
They make really good shit. I would love it if they would send me some.
8-bit does have some good stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna buy their PlayStation controller and their fight stick.
Yeah, I want one of their fight sticks too, but they're hard to get a hold of now.
What about secondhand? Have you looked on eBay?
No, I haven't, but I guess it wouldn't matter for me that much because I would probably put new parts in it anyways.
Yeah, you're a hardcore
nerd,
fighting game nerd, so you're gonna swap out all the buttons and make sure that.
If I'm gonna play fighting games, I'm gonna fucking do it right.
I did you ever watch Darkside Phil?
That name is really familiar. Yeah, he was like a Street Fighter player, right?
Yeah, until he got caught masturbating. So I used to watch a lot of him, and he's he's a big fighting game nerd as well. And in fact, I think he had like a world record for a while on one of them. But I remember I never even like knew that was a thing until I stumbled upon a video of him like raging because you gotta have the right buttons on your, I don't even know, the right joysticks, the right buttons, all that stuff on your fight stick. Otherwise, it's all not right, apparently, in the fighting community.
Well, I mean, everybody has preferences, and there are different manufacturers, and like different manufacturers make stuff a certain way, and yada yada. So everybody likes different things. Right, everybody has their preferences.
It's like mechanical keyboards for fighting games.
Essentially, if you get a mechanical keyboard, just think about your friends, guys. Go with the silent keys on your mechanical keyboard. This one.
But it's not as much fun.
It feels fine. This keyboard's disgusting, by the way. I don't know what happened. Somehow there's just like a pound of hair in there and dead skin and Cheetos and I don't know what goes on.
You just cleaned it 3 days ago. And
it's,
every other day, dude, I take all the keys off and I just get my half-gallon tub of silly putty out and I just roll it across. The next day, it's just a fur magnet again. I don't know what's going on, man.
Do you just go to sleep like this?
What is that, dude? That's the tiniest little keyboard.
No.
I like it.
It's a 10 keyless layout. Hey, it changed the color of my screen.
It's purple.
It's a 10 keyless layout, so it's missing all of the the numpad shit, and the function keys are like blended into the top row.
You're switching back blue, and I'm sorry, I can't even listen to you right
now.
I
have no control over it.
Dude, no, that's what I'm doing in the future. I've been really looking at some keypads. Well, okay, no, that's the backlighting, the lighting like that. Dude, can you tell me a story, like a campfire story right now?
There once was a man who had no hands. His life was very hard. The end.
That was a great story. I enjoyed. It's Jameson 30, boys.
No, so, oh gosh. Have you guys heard of any new TV shows that are coming out about video games?
I feel like this is a loaded question.
No.
They're coming out with the Sims-based
Nuh-uh.
TV show.
That's right.
Oh no.
It's like a reality show,
It's gonna
right?
be like the
a
real world?
competition?
Yeah, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
That's terrifying, man.
This is what we've come to in creativity.
I'll take it.
Is Michael Bay directing it?
I'd watch a fucking TV show where it was like it was like Seinfeld set in Animal Crossing Village.
Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember that show on X-Play where they would, or G4 Tech TV, whatever. X-Play was the show on that network. Anyways, it was a tournament. It was a video gaming tournament, and there would be like 3 different games that they would go through. Like I remember they would play like SOCOM, and then they'd play like an older arcade game, and they had some scoring system, and it was like cumulative. That show was the tits.
Isn't it called like The Gamer or something like that?
Something like that, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. Man, I miss that. I miss that network. I just miss an entire channel devoted to nerds. I mean, I guess you've just got YouTube these days, but
Yeah, now you have the internet.
yeah, I guess.
An entire infrastructure dedicated to nerds.
But
Tech TV was superior to G4. Tech TV was superior to G4. Tech TV was superior to G4.
I just want
Wade Boggs Carpet World.
I want Adam Sessler to score games out of 5 again. That's all I want.
It does nothing for me.
Come on.
I didn't have cable at the time. I didn't have cable then, so I have no nostalgia for it.
We had Tech TV on our C-band satellite where you would have to.
You mean the one that we would try to dial to get free porn?
That's a topic for another episode. That's how I also got to hack into some stuff and watch a lot of anime early on.
The satellite dish at your house was the size of my house.
Yeah.
Which I was always.
Well, guys, whose turn is it? That you look like he looks like a vinyl record cover right now. That's the art. Nope, go back.
You just aged yourself when you put those glasses down and wrinkled your forehead.
That's an album cover. Screen pick that, guys.
I would love to give me some fan art.
That's going on a t-shirt.
Hell yeah. I like that.
Who has the word? Who's got the word?
Are we ending it?
I don't know.
Is this
I
the
think
end?
so. I think we about there. Thank you, Javelin. Letting us use your song. So to Popinski.
When are we doing a 3-hour episode?
Next week.
Are we only doing that once we reach 100 Patreons?
We have to start a Patreon first. This is probably going to be one of the...
Start the Patreon! Thank you guys so much for 100 followers on Twitter.
Yes. Tell your friends. Tell your kids.
We never talk over each other, and all of a sudden this episode, I don't know what it is, man.
Who's talking over who?
Andrew and I, we just
can't stop.
Animosity there.
I don't know. I think we're mad at
Who's got the word? Who's got the word?
I think we go to Andrew just because of his backdrop right now. Because he's
he did it last week.
Damn it!
I did it last week. Yeah.
No, I'll go. Or can you go?
No, you go. We stole this from Santino, anyways. We gotta stop, man. He's gonna sue us. He's got more lawyers than us.
Blood from a stone, baby. Can't get money from somebody who doesn't have any.
That's true.
Can it be the title to a song?
Be whatever
Is it a word
you want, dude?
It's a new song.
Okay.
Lean back how you were. Do your thing.
No, I'm trying to get a. All right.
The modern Riders on the Storm. No, that was horrible. Delete that. Fuck that. He's a fucking final record cover. Look at him.
This is the longest, most procrastinated ending ever.
It's
Finn.
It's a problem.
We're done.
Capacitor. Fuck me.